My name is John Espinosa. I loved the first question on the question. It says, who are you? So I'm a man who takes responsibility. I am someone who fights for working class people. And I am someone who is really passionate about local issues. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles, in one of the rare walkable communities of LA, and I see how special that has translated into the city of Berkeley. It's an incredible place. I have been here since January 2025. I'm currently a student at Cal, studying urban planning, economics, and sociology. And that, in tandem with my career, has really helped me understand how housing is one of the most important issues that we all face, whether it's young people or the elderly. So I have decided to run because this was one of the times where God opened up the door for me and said, here's a door, walk through it, here's an opportunity to help people. I'm someone who's incredibly passionate, I'm also someone who does not shy away from difficult conversations. I think that's something we do need to be doing today in these times. So a little bit about myself is that I am first generation. My father was a truck driver for 30 years, and my mother was a home healthcare aide for the elderly. My father passed away from ALS, which is a degenerative disease, so I've seen how disabilities can really affect people when they're both renting and homeowners. We almost lost our home because he was laid off by his job once they found out that he was afflicted with ALS. So that was a difficult time, but my family and myself are people who persevere and have the energy and the passion to keep on moving forward, because that's what America is all about. You have to keep moving forward. You have to build community as well. You can't just do it entirely on yourself. My mother stopped driving in 2005 because she began to lose her vision. So as of today, she's legally blind. God has dealt me quite a hand with two disabled parents. So I see the struggles that people have, and I think we need someone that cares enough to do something about it. So some of the issues that I'm really interested about in the city are housing, food insecurity, and generational gaps, and I'll get into each of those. So my career, it took me some time to get here. I dropped out of college the first time I went. I didn't have guidance, I didn't have counselors. So I think that in this world, we need to try. We need to try everything, even if it's not exactly the path that we're supposed to take. So I tried architecture school, I tried engineering, and those weren't the right paths for me. So as a working class person, I had to find something. And one of the opportunities that opened itself up to me was residential real estate. So I know that those words have negative connotations, but my mission has been to help renters become homeowners, because I think that owning a home is one of the pillars to finding economic stability in this country. And regardless if people aren't homeowners, I have fought consistently to provide protections for both tenants and homeowners, as well as small business owners. I actively advocate for housing, public transportation, and disability rights in Sacramento and Washington, D.C., all at my own expense. I don't get paid to do it. It's a genuine passion, and that has yielded in significant results. One of the examples is there's a housing plan that was proposed in San Francisco to build more housing and protect renters and homeowners. And when you have passionate speakers who go to those events regularly, things happen. Unfortunately, the city of San Francisco passed that. A lot of my advocacy has been throughout the country, and I'm grateful to begin to do that more often here in Berkeley. I just recently attended the Flock meeting, and I'm sure a couple of people here were there, and that one meeting just reverberates to what's happening in America. It's the small people, the small town people fighting against corporate interess and just sending more money to the billionaires. That's not a system that's sustainable, and I'm angry at the system that we have today because both young and old are getting screwed over by those at the top. And I'm grateful to use the time that I have left, the energy that I have left to continue to fight, because unfortunately it's a never-ending mission. So, but you do need people who are educated and experienced and passionate enough to do that. So in housing, that's what I've done. I've also fought for tenant protections. In addition to helping renters become homeowners, I've also filled out and written renters contracts. So it's on that side as well. I've written protections into those contracts and helped enforce them to protect renters while also balancing the needs of the homeowners. In this world, we have to work together to find a balance. In terms of food insecurity, one of the plans that I do have for this, ideas. One of the plans and ideas that I have for the city is South Side and areas close by are considered food deserts. There is basically only processed food around, and the Walmart on Telegraph is Walgreens on Telegraph is closing, and the parents who have come up to me when I'm campaigning with my tent and on Telegraph in Southside, they don't know where they're going to get their diapers. They don't know where they're going to get their medicine. They don't know where they're going to get basic needs. That building is going to become a Raising Cane's, which is fried chicken. Students love fried chicken, but that's not healthy, sustainable food. That's not something. That's not another thing that Southside and Berkeley needs. We don't need more processed food. One of the ideas that I have is Berkeley Bodega. That's a partnership with a grocery store. I'm hoping Berkeley Bowl would be willing to join it. The Basic Needs Center and the Student Food Collective to bring fresh protein and produce to the South Side. And it's not just going to be a resource for students. No, absolutely not. It's going to be a resource for everyone. Because we cannot just say, this is only a student district, so we're only going to focus on those students. Yes, they're the majority, but they don't make up the entire city. So I have the unique distinction of being both a student and a re-entry transfer. So I have lived experience. I've seen how difficult things can get when you don't have support, when you don't have assistance. And one of my other ideas for the city is it tackles two parts. One, rents are really high. Two, seniors are facing a loneliness crisis in the city. In this country. The University of Michigan said that 1 out of 3 seniors is chronically lonely. So I have a plan called the Barter for Cheaper Rent program. There is a supply of Berkeley homes where the residents might be a widow or an elderly couple that they need assistance maintaining their home, reaching for cans, helping around the house. So with my experience with renters and homeowners, I've enacted that program where people can rent out, and of course it would be a pilot program, not everyone would be required to do it, but if there are people who need assistance in their homes and would be willing to rent out a bedroom to someone in exchange for negotiable rent, then that's something that we could look at. For example, if I'm a student and someone is gracious enough to rent me their home, I would be able to assist them with maybe weekly chores, monthly chores, to help them provide a safe, stable presence in their home, and then vice versa, I would be able to negotiate for more accessible rent. So that's a two-part plan. Help renters and help homeowners with their everyday needs. So my time here, I will say, has been a little bit short, but my passion is never ending. I think that this is a really special time where we need someone who, I say the word angry, but it is passion. Passion is anger, anger is passion. We need to join together as a city. One of the things that I've noticed is that typically some residents don't, a sizable percentage of residents don't have the most friendly opinion of students. So that's where that barter program comes in. If I'm a student and I can help you in your own home and you could possibly assist me with some rent, that helps everybody. I would love if someone could point out the holes in that. I don't personally see any major issues. And of course, like I said, it's a pilot, so it's not a requirement. It's whoever needs assistance in their home, stability, and just wants to bridge the intergenerational gap that America is facing.
Thank you, John. So I have a couple questions, and then we'll have everybody ask
Please,
questions.
thank you.
So qualifications. You mentioned your vocation. You're in I believe in real estate sales. Is that?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And you're still in school right now. Can you share what organizations you're a part of and what leadership roles you've had within this community and outside the community?
Absolutely, yes. So a number
Mike.
of... Yeah, thank you so much. I am involved with the National Construction Alliance, and they focus on labor unions and the people who physically build our world, the world around us. That is an important group because labor right now, it feels that they are getting pushed aside by developers who, a lot of us think that they just want to make money. And we need to be protecting the people who actually build those with their hands because they keep our country running. Another group is Housing Action Coalition. So they help draft, as well as California YIMBY. They have been pushing tenant protections and mitigating loss against homeowners. So it's a balance that we have to find, and I do think that my experience will help both sides of the aisle. And I'm also involved with the Braille Institute, that is a school for the blind. My mother is enrolled in that, but we do have also non-personal connections to that. I'm also involved with the ALS Foundation. They were huge help to us with my dad's affliction, and one of the really big things that they do yearly is a camp for children. In these times, we need to be protecting children. There is not enough that we can do to protect them. So that helps manage their pain, and not just the children, it's families, everyone who's been affected by not just ALS, other degenerative diseases. I also do volunteering with Cal Habitat for Humanity. They have been really great in addressing affordable rents and food insecurity. So that's one of the groups that I'm really passionate with. That's what I would say for that.
Okay, great. Can you tell us how you plan to campaign and how would you finance your campaign?
One of the big things that I'm banking on, as you can see, visibility. So I have since March when I launched my campaign, I have been in person on the streets with my tent. Sombrero Agent has become incredibly visible for people because one of the things that I wrote on my questionnaire is that I don't like to do the constant calling, the constant texting, the constant emailing. That's exhausting. And people don't like to be accosted by someone that they don't know. So face-to-face is incredibly important to me. These past couple weeks, I've also been door knocking the businesses. So I'm introducing myself. I'm saying what I would like to do. This is what I do. Introduce myself and ask them what issues are important to you. Because I'm not here to impose my concrete plan on everyone. No, I want to hear what issues are important to people because we need leaders who are actually hearing what we're saying and then putting that into our policies. So one of the big things when I was campaigning is my whiteboard, and just had one question: what's important to you? So everyone who was passing by, regardless if they were a student, employee, resident, business owner, that was really important in making their voices heard. And I didn't just write it down and erase it. No, that is written down in my notes to turn what people want into policies of the city.
And how do you plan to finance your campaign?
Well, I'm in contact with the city clerk to be enrolled for the public financing campaign. I'm completely basing myself on small donations. I think that's a really powerful way to get grassroots organizing done. And I'm working class as well, so I can't just be like, yeah, I'm gonna pay for it all myself. No. So that's how I would answer.
And before we go to the rest, one more question. Who
Please.
are your endorsers and who are your supporters?
Perfect. So A lot of the groups that I've spoken to are currently focused on the June primaries, so this is going to be in November. They have asked me to reach out once again after that. I'm in contact with Assemblyperson Buffy Wicks, Latifa Simon, also a number of other organizations like Cal Habitat, a couple student groups. I am really interested in this summer spending more time with local student groups, local parent groups like the PTA. I met a couple parents and they have some concerns on the school issues as well, and I know the rent board, the school board is having some elections come up. So I'm less focused on the names of the organizations, I'm focused on the people who fill them.
Okay, great. Thank you. Questions? Donna?
Yes.
You mentioned something that I want to make sure I heard it right.
Okay.
That you work with California YIMBY in how they protect renters.
Mhm.
You know that they do not. The YIMBY movement has no interest in renters at all. How do you bridge that little gap? And that Buffy Wicks is representative of that.
Mhm. Yeah, well, that's an excellent question. I am not a member of California YIMBY. I have taken some of their ideas that I think could be applicable to the city, and so the way that I would answer that is with my education and my renter experience. So I see the policies that they are pushing, and I know, you know what, you're saying that this policy is benefiting renters, I don't see it that way. So I think the combination of my work experience hands-on with renters and my education at Cal are gonna combine together to show me, you know what, they're saying one thing, but it doesn't mean that thing. So what I have is fresh eyes. I'm not someone who's established with every single group. I come into these things with outside views to say, you know what, you're saying something that doesn't necessarily translate. So the way that's how I say it. I think an outside perspective is really helpful, and with my experience both with renters and in real estate, I think that it would give me some clarity to say this doesn't apply or this doesn't actually help them.
Thank you. Dean?
I've heard in previous endorsement group meetings you mentioned that you will lower rent, and I wonder how you plan to be doing that.
Yeah, great question.
Your strategy, your tactics.
Yes,
let us know.
yes, perfect. So there's one thing that's called chaining, and that's where it comes into my barter for cheaper rent program. With if we have people being able to negotiate for cheaper rent while assisting elderly homeowners or homeowners with their daily maintenance, they vacate the units that they have, and the market should, well, I wouldn't say should, ideally, chaining means that the new renters will come into those. Now there are concrete laws that we can put, for example, rent stabilization. I think rent stabilization is something that's really helpful because it mitigates the needs of homeowners and renters. It doesn't shoot up immediately after someone moves out. It does give them protections with reasonable management of the rent costs.
Okay, thank you. George?
Yes.
Two questions. One is, do you agree that it would be important for more people in Berkeley to wear hats? Second question. What do you think about that? Second question. Second question is what do you think of the argument that building housing at any level of affordability or market rate, specifically market rate, will sort of benefit low-income people because it will make more housing, there'll be less competition at the top, and it'll sort of trickle down to poor people.
Yes, excellent point. So when we force developers to build affordable and low-income houses, those lower costs don't just disappear. I'm sorry, those higher costs don't just disappear. That is translated into higher costs for market rate housing.
Could you say that again?
Yes, of course. So when we force developers to build low-income housing, the loss on that income or profit is then pushed onto the market rate housing. So that makes it fairly more expensive. So if we're forcing developers to build low-income housing, that just makes it expensive for all of us.
So you're saying better than that would be the in lieu, what's called the in lieu fees?
I would say that,
Better than forcing them to build it in.
yeah, the more, the focus that we put on market rate housing based on the economics and the urban policy will balance out, as opposed to, will balance out. So the more market rate, and one thing that actually was really shocking to me, so I went to a presentation for a luxury developer because I wanted to see what they said. The more luxury housing that they were building elsewhere actually translated to less expensive rents elsewhere. Because when the wealthy move into luxury units, the rents that they were paying can kind of balance out. Now, I'm not going to say that's a perfect solution for everything, but I think market rate housing will help drop rents overall.
Okay, Vince, and then I'll go.
So there was a large study of the effect of market rate housing. It went into 6 major cities around the country. All 6 of those cities showed that market rate housing raised the rents on lower income housing. How do you square that?
How do I what? I'm sorry?
How do you square that?
How do you account for that?
Of course, yes. That's not an issue that Berkeley can solve. I think that there has to be heavier responsibility placed on regional governments because we can't be forcing one city to build everything as much as possible. I think that wealthier cities do need to be doing their fair share, and cities with less low-income people need to be building more so that the rents can help balance out. But we can't be forcing one city to build everything.
Okay, Chris, go ahead, and then we'll go up here.
Berkeley's really struggling with police accountability as an issue, and I don't know if you followed it, but also recently fired the executive director of the Police Accountability Board, and there are numerous vacancies on the actual board itself, the commission itself, and so I'm curious what your take is on the whole issue of police accountability in Berkeley, and any changes you would like to see to either how the commission's run and staffed, or how the police department interacts with the police accountability, and just kind of your sense of Berkeley and policing and police accountability to the community. That's something that the residents of Berkeley voted for overwhelmingly in 2020 as a whole. So I'm just curious your take on what's going on in Berkeley around police accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. Police accountability is something that is ignored far too often. A real life example. There was a former police chief who hit 2 children in their car, and they were completely let off by the governing boards. That's absolutely not acceptable. No, it was in San Diego. Yeah, San Diego. But it's a California issue and statewide issue. Our police departments have become far too militarized, and they have been given free rein to basically do whatever they like. A large percentage of police officers, there was a study that showed that there's a percentage that are domestic abusers, and yet we're giving these people basically unchecked power. For lawsuits throughout a lot of cities, their settlements are paid with public funds. I think they should be paid by the police pensions. I don't think that you and I should be paying for someone with unchecked power to do whatever they like continuously. In terms of Berkeley specifically, like I said, I was just at that flock meeting, and they continued the contract, but they voted against, was it the readers, I believe? I think that contract should have never been accepted in the first place. I think we should be using the resources that we have here in such a rich, technologically rich, innovative place, that we should say, hey, Cal, you have a lot of robotics engineering students. Why aren't you building encrypted safe systems for us that aren't selling our private information to the rich? That's how I answer that.
Thank you. Sophie?
I guess I'm kind of switching my question now, but on that point, let me think about how to phrase this. In terms of like technology giving more things like tear gas and like you just said, having, I guess, that technology outsourced to Cal students, is that something, just the way that it's racial profiling people, is your issue with Flock, I guess, specifically their engagement with federal enforcement, and how would you, as a council member, I guess, interact with the police and hold the police accountable, other than just, the Police Accountability Board?
Yes, absolutely, great question. So I did bring up the pensions, that when they make mistakes, it should not be us, the citizens, the residents, to be paying for those mistakes. They need to be held accountable, not just with the Police Accountability Board, but hit them where it hurts, their wallets. That's what's gonna really make things change. It's not gonna be someone yelling at them. They're not, I don't know if you guys were at the Flock meeting, but when we were talking, the police chief and then we were just sitting there, like, not dead look in their eyes. They're not going to listen when someone tells you or writes a strongly worded letter. No, they're going to change their ways when their wallet is hit. And one of the things that could prevent further abuses of power is we need way longer training programs, much more evolved and deeper training programs. Because I think it's 6 months to become a police officer? I don't think that's right. I think people need to be put through intense training that addresses all issues: physical violence, racial profiling, all issues that we all face with. There was just a report done on the police recently where the majority of Cal students that were stopped were Black people. And their population on campus is very tiny. Why are they the ones getting pulled over the most? So we gotta hit them with their wallets and do heavier training.
Okay, last question with Ida, and then we'll go to your closing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Assuming you were voting in the Democratic presidential primaries in 16 and 20, who did you support and why?
16, I voted for Bernie Sanders. And because his message was, it's us versus the 1%. I fully agree with that. It is us versus the 1%. It's not white, Black, Asian. That's their whole goal, is to divide us, and I'm tired of it. I'm angry. In 2020 and 2024, I voted against the Orange Pig.
In the primary.
Yes, yeah. I had to, it wasn't difficult to vote against someone, it was difficult to vote for someone in the 2020 election.
No, I'm asking about the primary, not the general.
Is there a specific person that you mean, or? Like I am a Democratic voting independent.
Marianne Williamson, come on!
I did like Marianne.
So did I.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, and if you want to give us your closing statement?
Well, first, I'm super grateful for this opportunity. I've had few experiences where people were actually trying to make the playing field fair, so I'm incredibly grateful to this group. And I appreciate that your message is against real estate developers. And I thought it was really important for me to come today because I worked on the real estate residential side, helping renters. I have never helped anyone buy a second, third, fourth, fifth home. I've actively rejected offers from developers, and I'm someone who just, pardon my language, gives a damn about what's going on in our world, and we need to bridge the intergenerational gaps, fix housing costs, fight food insecurity, fight the 1%, make it a more equitable country. This is a really special time, and I'm grateful to be a part of it, so I'm truly grateful for the opportunity. And my name is John Espinosa, Sombrero Agent. Hats off to our city.